Hey, horror fans! Thanks for joining me for this review of Vivarium. Uh, Cast and crew information down below, and start with the IMDb plot. A young couple looking for the perfect home find themselves trapped in a mysterious labyrinth-like neighborhood of identical houses. Okay, so, yeah, I've managed to see some strange movies recently, and this is one of them. Um, I this is one that I saw a few people mention, and was like, okay, if I come across it, I'll check it out. And I did, and another reason I checked it out is because Jesse Eisenberg is in it, and I recognized the girl who also plays opposite of him. She looked familiar, so I'm like, okay. And I don't want to try to pronounce her name. I'm sure I'll pronounce it wrong, but apologies to her. But I don't want to butcher her name. But she was in Black Christmas. I knew I had seen her somewhere recently, and that's where I saw her. Anyway, the movie's even off the start starts off very strange because it basically starts off showing birds, and birds right when they're born, and mom's feeding birds, and then birds with no feathers, so they look really ugly. Quite an introduction to the movie, and then in a big spoiler here, they show two birds that die. So you get off to a very strange start, and even at that level, I'm like, oh crap, what have I just put on? And you have let's see, what is her name here? Gemma, and she's a teacher, and I guess it's the last day of school, or maybe it's just a weekend. I don't remember exactly, but she's ready to leave, and she's outside actually talking to a little girl, and kind of fills her in on something, and kind of plays a role in the movie. And then here comes Tom, and Tom is her boyfriend. I don't think they're married. I think that's just her boyfriend. He also works there, and he disposes of the birds that have died outside in this school. After you get that wonderful introduction to birds, and they leave together, and you see that he's more of that. He's not a teacher. He's more of like the handyman or so forth at the school, and they leave together from this point, and they're gonna go look at houses. How they found this realtor office or whatever they stop in, I don't think that was explained. But anyway, they go into this weird office with one guy there, and he seems very robotic in his manner, and so forth. But he's like, okay, follow me, and we'll go look at this house. They get in the car, they follow him, they get out. It's a neighborhood, and as you kind of get a glance of it, a lot seems the same. The houses are identical. So that's kind of a strange thing to start, but okay. They go in the house. He's showing them around, trying to make the house seem like it's all nice and what they want, and what a regular family wants. But as he's doing that, they're kind of looking at him weird. Again, he's still talking a little bit of a weird way, almost in a robotic kind of way, very simple. Maybe making jokes that aren't really that funny, and so forth. But presenting this house, like if it's what a family or a new family is going to want. But everything seems a lot smaller than it should be, and the colors are a little weird, and so forth. There's already a room that he points out for a child, and it's painted blue, so they're obviously making a big assumption that the child is going to be a boy. And so, there's some weird things, happening right off the start here. And then he invites them to go in the backyard. They go in the backyard. He says he's going to join them, but then he disappears. So they're like, okay, whatever. They're not totally interested in this house. They get back in the car. They try to leave, and they can't. No, they are stuck here. They are stuck in a neighborhood of all identical houses. They keep going around and around in circles. They can't get out. So they decide, okay, let's go back to this house. They seem to somehow, no matter how many times they drive around, end up in the same house. One thing about the movie, kind of skipping ahead, is I don't know why they didn't try to go into somebody else's house. They never really make an attempt at that. The guy kind of says, house number 9 is their house. When they get there, the one that he's going to show them, and it seems to be the one that they end up living in. They're stuck here for a long time. So they're there, they can't leave, and you're like, okay. And then the movie gets stranger because Box shows up at the door, and it's a baby. And they're basically told that if they raise the boy right, they'll be released. So they take, what are you gonna do? There's a baby at the door. You take them in. The baby seems to grow up real fast, or at least get to a talking age really quickly. It doesn't stay a baby for long. And again, in ways, he looks like the salesman here. I'm not going to spoil everything here. I'm trying not to, and I don't even think I can, because there's a lot of, at the end of the day of this movie, there's a lot to be interpreted. Obviously, there's a point being made here. I'm not sure I got the point. You can take the movie in its meaning in different ways and what it meant to you, or maybe you got it. I don't think I got it, to be honest. So I don't think I'm spoiling anything here. I'm not going to go too much further, but I just want to kind of paint the picture of the strangeness that's happening here. So there is this boy, and he kind of looks a little bit about like a super young version of this realtor guy that they encountered earlier. And again, they're teaching him. He's weird. He's kind of robotic in his ways. Like one of the things he does is they mention, how some kids have a dog or something like that, and they introduce him to what a dog is. So they obviously don't have one, and he runs around the house several times and just going woof, 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 like a crazy kid there. And it's really strange. He does other strange things. And, one of the things that happens here is obviously you're stuck in a situation where you don't want to be. A kid that's not yours, and you raise him, and there's something not right there. Nothing seems real. The situation doesn't seem real. The kid doesn't seem real. The house is not the way you want it. As wonderful as they try to paint it as that the house they wanted, it's just not. So again, there's a lot of interpretation here. Things escalate from this point on. Obviously, there's tension between the two. Because of the situation, because of the kid, there's things that happen with the kid. I'm not going to spoil, everything that happens from here on out. There's a few things that happen in that short time at the beginning that play a role later in the movie. There's things that gets even much weirder later on. It is a little depressing in areas. I don't think I'm spoiling anything. You don't really get the sense of who's doing this to them. Like how the hell did they end up in this situation? How were they selected? Is it aliens that are playing a role in this movie? Are these creatures? Obviously, like they do that whole bird thing at the beginning. So, are these alien bird creatures? what is the relationship between birds and what's happening in this movie, or the people behind this, or the creatures behind this, or did they just kind of cross into a time zone or a different dimension or something like that? There is a mention of dimensions later in the movie. This is just a strange movie. I'm not gonna go full out and endorse you seeing this movie unless you just want to watch some strangeness. Maybe you catch what's going on here. Maybe you appreciate and interpret what's happening here in a different way than I did. I still not sure what the hell happened in this movie, I'm sure, like I said, like I keep saying, they leave it for interpretation. So maybe there's a goal here. Maybe they want you to think a certain thing. Maybe it's a statement on society or something. In a little ways, it is. Because of the way they make you think that this couple, or maybe the standard couple, wants a house and so forth, and wants a kid and so forth here. But maybe that's a big what if. I don't know. Maybe there's probably a statement in there somewhere. But a good job between Jesse and his counterpart in this movie, and even the boy being strange, and he does a good part. So it's good acting. But yeah, just the overall movie is strange, and you know how I feel with strange movies, and I'm all good for having weird, but after a certain point of it, it kind of goes downhill for me, and again, not seeing enough of the point of this movie, and maybe I just missed the point. That happens sometimes. So I'm curious if you've seen the movie and you have a better idea of what the hell happened in this movie. I would certainly be up for hearing that. I'm going to be reaching out to some of my friends here soon to see if they've seen the movie and what they thought. Maybe they got what was happening. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I fell asleep at some point. I don't know. But again, I'm gonna give this one two pools of blood. Being held up by it's an interesting concept they put together here, and good acting, and but I just don't see the point. I completely missed it. It went completely over my head. I don't know. But again, if you guys have seen it, please in the comment section below, explain the movie to me, or tell me what you thought. If it went over your head too, we're in the same boat. But yeah, just weird. So and my social media is also down below as always, so you can reach out to me there and explain the movie there as well. So for more reviews, you can always visit horrorgoryreviews.blogspot.com. The link is down below. And we have written reviews as well as these video reviews you can find there. And always subscribe to the channel for all the video reviews you can handle. And I have another weird one to review coming up soon as well. So the weirdness doesn't stop. But that's part of being a horror fan, I guess. So with that, I will check you on the next review, horror fans.